All right, what is up? We are live. Atlanta ends, and your winner is Joey Logano. He locks himself into the round of 12, so he for sure is going to the next round. But there was a lot of playoff drama in this one, so let's just look at the finishing order. Then we will jump into the points. Like I said, Joey Logano with Auto Trader Ford wins the race, a barn burner in Atlanta. A good race altogether. Daniel Suarez finished second. Had a really good car all day today. Couldn't quite get it done at the end, but that second place finish is definitely going to be a huge boost for him trying to get into that second round. Ryan Blaney didn't have the greatest day, but you got to be happy with a third place considering everything that happened. Basically, he had the door duct taped, the rear end was duct taped. Uh, that thing was beat up, but it finished in third with a beat up car like that. You got to feel like that's at least a decent day. You recovered from it. Christopher Bell, nobody ever talks about him. I don't think they even talked about him today, but he finishes in fourth place in the Ream Toyota. Alex Bowman fifth. Tyler Reddick sixth. Kyle Busch, the only non playoff driver in the top 10, finishing seventh, continues his strong run of recent races with a 12th, a fourth, a second, and now a seventh. Chase Elliott finishing in eighth place here in the Napa Children's Chevrolet. William Byron ninth, and Austin Cindric 10th. Rest of your finishing order here is going to be Daniel Hemrick in 11th. Good run for him in the Cry Cool Chevrolet. Justin Haley, a 12th there. It's a good run for him after being penalized for blocking below the yellow line or something like that. He caught a penalty and was able to recover to 12th. Ross Chastain didn't get the finish he wanted, but he was strong all day today. Ended up pushing his teammate to that second place finish before getting tangled up later on with a strong push from Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who finishes right behind him. Uh, it was a strong push from Chase Elliott, I think, that actually caught him up. Either way, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. involved in the Ross Chastain ordeal. Corey LaJoy, 15th. Carson Hocevar, 16th. Ty Gibbs, 17th. Ryan Preece, 18th. Brad Keselowski, playoff driver there in 19th. Ty Gibbs, of course, the 17th playoff driver as well. Then you got, let's see, Below Keselowski is Dylan, Zane Smith, Michael McDowell, JJ Yaley. Good run for JJ Yaley, 23rd. And then Denny Hamlin, your next playoff driver here in 24th. So not what he was looking for to get today. Regardless of what he said in his interview, I'm going to have to agree with Kyle Petty. I don't think anybody came into this race looking to hopefully gain 20 points. So I don't necessarily buy what he was selling there. I do agree with Kyle Petty that he wanted more from this race and they just missed it today. BJ McLeod, 25th. Eric Jones, 26th. Todd Gilliland, 27th. Josh Berry, 28th, involved in a wreck. Bubba Wallace, 29th, also involved in a wreck. Cody Ware, 30th. Harrison Burton, your next playoff driver, finishing in 31st. He was involved in that last wreck there. Didn't quite make it past the start finish line. SVG, Gizzy finishing in 32nd. John Hunter Nemechek, 33rd. He had a self wreck sort of midway through the last stage. I want to say Noah Gregson, 34th. Martin Trix Jr., also a playoff driver, 35th. Chris Buescher, 36th. Kyle Larson takes himself out, but he doesn't finish last. He finishes in 37th because the man that he took out in his wreck where he broke loose and hit the wall, or if a piece, I think he broke loose and hit the wall. Some people think that he had a mechanical failure. I think he just lost the tail end of the car, and because of the rack and pinion steering or whatever, he shot into the wall. He takes out Chase Briscoe, another playoff driver. So playoff driver problems here for Chase Briscoe, Kyle Larson, Martin Trix Jr., and Harrison Burton all finishing in the 30s. And then, of course, Denny Hamlin with a 24th. Probably not too happy with that. Brad Keselowski probably not feeling stoked about that 19th he got either. So, with that being said, let's take a look at the playoff picture. Ryan Blaney currently leads your playoff picture. Joey Logano already locked in, so it's not going to matter that he's in fifth place here. But Ryan Blaney leads the playoffs right now. Christopher Bell is second. Tyler Reddick is third. And that's a 5-point gap between Blaney and Bell, and minus 12 to Reddick, who is tied with William Byron here in third and fourth. And like I said, Joey Logano already locked in, but he's minus 17. And Alex Bowman is going to be minus 18, tied with Austin Cindric, who did get a stage win and a second place in the stage. So he got maximum bonus points here for the stage wins, or for the stage win and the second stage points, I guess I should say. They're in seventh place, tied with Alex Bowman. Chase Elliott in eighth. Daniel Suarez in ninth, so sitting in a pretty good position. He's minus 23 from the lead and has a nice little cushion there before the cut line. Kyle Larson, minus 30 in 10th place, and he's only, let's see here, He's only about 15. I want to say he's only about 15, just roughly off the top of my head doing this math. He looks like he's about 15 from the cut line. And then it gets tighter from here. Denny Hamlin is in 11th, Ty Gibbs in 12th. And then you got Brad Keselowski, Harrison Burton, Martin Truex Jr., and Chase Briscoe on the outside looking in. And that is the poll question. Who do you think is in the most trouble right there at the cut line? Only gives me four options. So I just picked the four options that are already outside of the cut line as it stands right now. So we will see how it goes. A1 saying let's go. LOL. I hate it for Truex. I know he's not great on super speedways, but more consistency from Kyle Busch. Yeah, Kyle Busch. He's having a second half of the season, or I don't know, last 1/3 of the season. I don't know. He's having a good run here the last few races. That's all I know for sure. But yeah, Martin Truex Jr. He's gone into the tank here. I don't know what's up. Hopefully they get it figured out. Just had a lot of bad luck, really. Rodney Collier saying, you know what I'm thinking about the 22. I do, Rodney. It is an even year, and I called it at the beginning of the season. It's an even year, so you got to watch out. Krusty, what's up, my friend? Krusty saying, what's up? Hamlin, second bad finish in the Mavis colors. Yeah, so maybe hopefully there's no more Mavis races for Denny Hamlin the rest of the season, because that seems to have brought him some bad luck today. Penske brought rockets today. They did. They were really fast. I feel like the Penske cars and probably the Hendrick cars were super fast today. I think the fastest of the Hendrick cars wrecked himself out early in Kyle Larson. I would have been interested to see how that played out. But yeah, the Penske cars were super fast today. There is absolutely no doubt about that. And even the Penske affiliated cars of Michael McDowell, who had the pole, Todd Gilliland, they were also fast as well. So yeah, Penske brought it today. Hendrick brought it today. But Penske is the one that comes away with the win, and Trackhouse doing the best they could. They teamed up at the end, but they couldn't get anything going when the two Penske teammates were lined up. Auto Trader scheme looked good. It did. It did. Mostly orange this time. I think he's won Auto Trader in the mostly blue one before. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't remember if he's won in the mostly orange one before, but it's Joey Logano. I'm sure he has. Especially with all the other shows, says Krusty. Stellar finish by Bubba and Hacklin, says Mark Barnum, being a little sarcastic there. Hamlin and McLeod had a heck of a battle all day long. Unfortunately, BJ couldn't quite get ahead of him at the end, says Cody Ledger. Krusty laughing at Hacklin. Kyle Petty said, I'm going to say this. He did. He said, I'm going to say this. And I agree with Kyle Petty. I think Hamlin was given a little misdirection there. I don't think he really wanted to get just 20 points on this day. So it is what it is. Got a super chat here from Jamie Schweitzer. Fist bump, my friend. Appreciate you there. And he says, new nickname for Joey is the OK Overtime Kings. There you go. That's not a bad deal, because when it goes to overtime, Joey Logano seems to be your guy, no doubt about it. Sort of maybe like a Martin Monday thing. Maybe it's Overtime Joe, Overtime Joe or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Big Time Joe in overtime. I don't know. Yeah, because NASCAR is so honest, says Krusty. Oh, yeah, Joey and Blaney, great teamwork, says Miguel. Yeah, no doubt about it. They pushed each other at the right time, and they did what they needed to do to get there. Another overtime finish, says Lanes. Yes, that was definitely, I think it was 4 laps off the top of my head of caution for a Walmart sign falling down. First off, they should have been zip tied and not just double taped or used silicone to put them up there. They should have been zip tied as well. So that's my first issue. The second issue is they didn't need to take the other one down. Just get the Walmart sign off the track, have a quick yellow, and let's go. You don't need 4 laps to get a sign off the track. So that was a bit excessive. Evening, y'all. That is the smallest pit row, or what, says Brickyard Brickhead. I don't think it's the smallest, but it's definitely tight. It's a tight one, and that was an issue too. I think at one point Chase was sandwiched between Corey LaJoy and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And I think before that, Austin Cindric hit him, and I think he had to get his steering wheel straightened back up after that. So yeah, pit road was an issue today. Dang glad someone can decipher this, says Krusty. Blaney headed to Dent Wizard after this race. Indeed, it was a good day to have Dent Wizard as your sponsor with all that tape on the side of the car and finishing third. I bet on the 20 car. Man, I thought the 54 was too good to finish that bad. Nepo baby lost it, says Bumstead. So yeah, Ty Gibbs had a good run going, but unfortunately lost it there at the end. Was hoping or didn't get the finish, at least he was hoping for. Was hoping Busch would win, says in between the lanes. He looked good for a little while. But unfortunately, he stayed on that lower lane a little bit too long and let the top lane come in. And as soon as the top lane came in, I didn't understand it because I don't know. William Byron passed him on the top lane, then immediately abandoned it, and then the top lane went and passed him by. So I didn't get that one. But after that, it was sort of Kyle Busch was able to get back up to maybe second after that, but I don't think he ever got back into the lead again. Let's see. I was pulling for Bush too, says Bumstead. Early Watkins Glen. Oh, we got another super chat. Krusty saying, a bunch of baloney. So I appreciate you there. Appreciate you there. I see what you did there, Krusty. Much love as well, my friend. Early Watkins Glen prediction. Martin Truex Jr. dominates. Hopefully, says in between the lanes. I mean, he's good at, first off, JGR is good at road courses, and Martin Truex Jr. is good at road courses. So yeah, he's not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. Does KFB get in trouble for not helping the Chevy driver Suarez? Still ticked about Retzlaff deal. It's a race, says Cody Ledger. I don't know that he could have got up there to help Suarez, to be totally honest with you. Suarez had plenty of help from Ross Chastain. I mean, I get what you're saying. I get what you're going for there. But I don't think he actually could have got to him to help him anyway. So it is what it is. I feel like the two Fords there just had a better push. They were better organized at the end as well. So I don't know. I don't know. Ross gave Suarez a heck of a push, but then nobody was behind Suarez to give him or nobody was behind Chastain to give him a push back to get him back up there, and that was kind of the race, really, right there. What's going to happen to those that didn't sign? Says Mark Langren. I don't know. We'll have to see. So NASCAR is threatened to take the charters away, and 2311 and Front Row Motorsports are calling their bluff. So that's all you can really say about it. I don't know. It just depends on what happens. They've called the bluff, so we'll see if NASCAR was bluffing or if they're really going to take them. That's all. That's the short and long of it. Cindric led laps and won a stage. Says in between the lanes. Yeah, for sure. And also, I got I think 19 overall stage points. So that's definitely going to help his cause for sure. And that's what I'm saying. Some of these guys here at the cut line could quite possibly be in trouble. BK -1. This is rough math. I don't know if it's exactly right, but it's fairly close. I think BK is -1. HB Harrison Burton is -16. Truex is -19, and Briscoe is -21. So of those, who do you think is in the most trouble right now? It's a tie between Truex and Briscoe, right there. Let's see, 6 laps for a Walmart caution. So it was 6 laps. It was more than 4. So yeah, that was crazy. Like they didn't have to take that other sign down. That was so asinine, in my opinion. Quaker State Motor Oil available at Walmart. Good day for Quaker State. They won a stage. They finished second in another stage, and they finished second overall in the race with another car. Had 2 cars in the field. So that was a good day. Good day for branding on the Quaker State machines. Get your cautions on rollback at Walmart. Tuned in. Where was the race? Says Mark Langren. It was good racing throughout the pack, but whoever had the lead seemed to have like 2 business days to throw a block on whoever was coming behind them for most of the race. Then at the end, it heated up there with some 3 wide stuff and some cautions. So typical super speedway race. I think it was entertaining to most people. Let's see. It's Walmart, not known for quality workmanship, says Jamie Schweitzer. That's the signage company, though. Walmart just bought the space. Joey has now won 9 of the 10 races when leading at advertised distance. Also stole another 4 for the 13 overtime wins, says Cody Ledger. 4 for 13 on overtime wins. So there you go. That's probably not a bad percentage, I'm thinking. I was pretty impressed with how clean everyone raced today, says Bumblebee. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, till the very end. And, if you catch a caution at the end, it's sort of going to be a wreck fest. So, yeah, 100% agree with that one. They did race fairly clean today. Only driver in history with more overtime success was Jimmy Johnson. 15 of 16 and 3 steals, says Cody Ledger. Not sure if you mentioned this before, BB, but what did you think of Logano Suarez situation? No penalty was called. It's hard for me to say because I just hate the yellow line. Like I hate the yellow line rule. I don't think it should be a rule. Period. The penalty for going below the yellow line is you're going to wreck yourself, right? So if you can hold it, just go for it. But that being said, I don't know. I saw at one point Austin Cindric went down there and touched the yellow line. I don't know if he went. It was hard to say because it was like an overhead view. He didn't get a penalty for it. I didn't see Suarez get a penalty for it. But then you saw Justin Haley get a penalty for it. And he was just throwing a block. So it's a NASCAR judgment call, man. Like, I just don't like the judgment call part of it. and I don't like the yellow line rule itself. So it's hard for me to say. So I mean, from my perspective, no, they shouldn't have called it. Let's see. The 21 deserved a better finish. He raced hard all day, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, he was up there all day. Unfortunately, didn't get the finish he wanted, like a lot of guys who got caught up in some of those later wrecks. Joey won the race here and in Nashville with the same overtime rules as everyone else, says Jenny Fletcher. Yeah, I don't think anyone's trying to take the overtime win away from Joey. I haven't seen any calls for that. Joey ties Truex for Cup wins, says Jamie Schweitzer. Okay, there you go. That's pretty cool. So I don't know where they're at on the list, but that's pretty cool that they tied each other. Austin Dillon was top 5, top 10 at one point. Yeah, he faded back pretty early. His car was not handling well, but for whatever it looked like Kyle Busch's car was, but Kyle Busch was able to give the feedback, get his car handling better. Austin Dillon, I never saw him. I saw him maybe back up to 10th at one point, but then after that, like he just they just kept shuffling him back out of the way. Hard to say. Hard to say what happened there. Maybe that was drivers up because of the Richmond deal or what, or maybe his car wasn't handling. It's hard to say one way or the other. But he was fast early on, but it looked like the car was super loose. I don't know if they could ever get it tightened up or what was the deal. Stupid Ford, says Duke Chronic. Said Duke Chronic, not a Ford man. Give B. Give that guy the big timeout, says Mark Barnum. Talking to B. 5 and 11 are fine. They earned a mulligan, says Duke Chronic. I don't know. I'd want more than like 15 or so points. And like I said, that's rough math. It's hard to do math and talk here at the same time too. So I often get the numbers wrong. So check for yourself. But I think it's around 15. Bumblebee said I did. The way Martin Truex season going during the semi will be involved in a wreck on the way to Watkins Glen, says Joseph Wooten. Hopefully Martin Truex Jr. is past the bad luck at this point. Eric Jones got some TV time today by running the high line. Yeah, he was running the high line, doing pretty good. Unfortunately, at some point, he got caught up in somebody's mess. I did see him brush the wall. Bush led laps, says in between the lanes. Yeah, he once again led some laps, got a good finish. He is the master of saving fuel and laying in wait for others to run low. If he restarts in the first 2 rows, he most likely will win the race, says Jenny Fletcher. That's a good point. Not just all that, but he's one of the best restart guys in the entire Cup Series. So yeah, whenever there's a restart, there's a really good chance that Joey Logano is going to make the most of it. In fact, the fact that that's who Denny Hamlin was racing when Denny Hamlin jumped the restart that race. That's actually proof of how good Joey Logano is on restarts. Is that Hamlin, who was also good on restarts, ended up jumping a restart because he knew what Joey Logano was doing, trying to get a rolling start to get the better restart. All kinds of games go on the restarts. Apparently, Truex Jr. Sped on pit road and came back towards the front. Says in between lanes. I missed the speeding part, so I didn't see him talking about that. Bubba couldn't settle for a top 10 and had to use up a bunch of people, including his boss/owner's car, says Seth. It's good that Joey won and not the guy after P10 in the playoffs, says Duke Chronic. Off for dinner before football night in America, says Mark Barnum. So, yeah, that's the other thing. Football starts this weekend. Everybody's stoked about their fantasy football team right now. Everybody's undefeated, and the NASCAR playoffs are starting. We're pretty close. I think we're pretty close to the playoffs in baseball as well. So a lot going on at the same time. And then around November, or maybe late October, college basketball and NBA basketball will start. So it's that time of the year where everything's going to start cranking up at the same time. I was surprised that the 99 didn't hook for the win. Is that bad? I feel bad saying that, but it's what I was thinking, says Bumstead. A little too fast. You shouldn't ever hook anybody for the win. Not right hook them, according to NASCAR. They've got that. They've set that new precedent for that. But this track's way too fast for that type of stuff, I think. Mark Barnum, I waited all day for Sunday night, says in between the lanes, talking about the NFL. Penske swept all 3 stages of the race, says Jenny Fletcher. Indeed, they did. Bumstead, if he does, they probably would take the playoff benefits. So, and not only that, but each of the 3 drivers separately won. So Blaney won a stage, Cindric won a stage, and Logano won the race. So all 3 drivers finished in the front. So that's another little thing to throw in there as well. If he does, they probably would take the playoffs benefits for it, says Bumblebee. Yeah, exactly. So even if he did it, he would get. Can we just call it? He would get Austin Dillon. He would get Austin Dillon's points wise. The Austin Dillon rule. I just wish they should have done the single file restart with 10 laps left, says Chrome Diesel. Yeah, I mean all kinds of. But these are the rules for this season. But yeah, you can look back on it and say maybe NASCAR changes some things in the future. We'll see. I doubt we get single file restarts ever again, though. NASCAR likes the drama. I need a scheme with Bush Global Industries today. It says in between the lanes, first on race day, says Delmer Kaufman. I think Blaney was happy to stay behind the 22, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, I think with the body damage on Blaney's car, I think he was probably a better pusher at that point, and I think he was more than happy to help a teammate in that particular situation because I don't think he would have had anything had his car got out front in that air. It probably would have been rough on the body damage he had. So he did his job as a good teammate today, pushing the 22 to the win. Watch for hours just to see a Logano win. Says 1400 horsepower next gen. So he's not a huge Logano fan as next gen. Seemed like tire degradation is coming back. Maybe another 5 years, we can take the plates off and get closer to old Atlanta. The paint made a difference, says Cody Ledger. So yeah, the longer it runs, the better that track is going to get as far as tire wear goes. BB, did you watch any football? Just here and there. I just sort of been keeping up with the scores as far as my fantasy team goes, but I haven't watched any games yet. My team doesn't play until Monday night, so I'll watch the Monday night game. Commercial-free race as well, says in between the lanes. Ford is, at least for the cautions. The cautions and the stage breaks were the only commercials side-by-sides during the action. Ford is closing in on the manufacturer points race, says Jamie Schweitzer. They are. They're making a run for it. So that's going to be interesting to watch. Arguably, the best Ross has ran all year. And once again, green-white meltdown. I thought he was going to push Suarez to a win. But if you watch Chase laid back midway through that lap, killing the top, yeah, and then when he caught up to him, it was just too strong of a push, it looked like. So yeah, unfortunate the way it ended. I thought we were going to have a much closer finish, but it is what it is at the end of the day. I still think the faster car probably won. But yeah, Ross was doing his best with the 99, but nobody would kind of work with Ross there. Unfortunately, they were laying back and trying to get the win themselves, which I can't fault. But if you're Daniel Suarez, that's not what you wanted to see on the top line. On Earth 2, the sign on the other side was Sam's Club, says Aaron Flynn. Yeah, next year maybe they rotate them. Just get a rotating sign up there. Motor City Dan Campbell on Sunday Night Football. Hey, there you go. Go Lions. Unless you're pulling for the team they're playing against, they're taking the 5 to R&D to look it over. I'm glad he and Briscoe are okay. That was ugly, says B. Indeed, they're gonna definitely take a look at that car, and hopefully going forward they'll be good. Aaron Flynn laughing. Another bad season for the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, the Carolina Panthers are already eliminated from playoff contention. I have decided after today that there is no chance they're making the playoffs. They might go 0-14. Let's see, or 0-16, 17, however many games they play this year. I can't remember if they've added a game or not, but at least 0-16. Another bad season for the Carolina Panthers on the way. Good evening, gang. What's up, Thunder? Glad to see you on here. 0-14 this year. The Vikings, the Vikings are 0-14 this year, says Mark Langren. Are going to go 0-14. Use the flag man to do a green-white checkered restarts. The top guys, how to game it. Krusty saying strike. Score and prediction for tomorrow night's 49ers Jets 28-10. Says Joseph Wooten. It's going to be interesting. It just depends on what Aaron Rodgers. You can never discount Aaron Rodgers. If he's still Aaron Rodgers, it could get interesting. You just never know. Watch out for falling prices, says Aaron Flynn. There's the link to the Discord. And if you want to check out the merch store, we got hats. If you buy a hat, you get a free T-shirt. So check that one out. Those are both of the links. Appreciate you there, one wise guy. I saw Dan Campbell at Applebee's. Says in between the lanes. So that's pretty cool. Him and Mike Harmon are going to hook up and do an Applebee's commercial. That's what I feel. I feel like that needs to happen. So is Washington, says Krusty. Yeah, Washington. I'm gonna have to put them up there as well. Probably right there with the Panthers. Future poll question: which Team Penske car will be the first to drop out of the playoffs? Says Jamie Schweitzer. Oh, I don't know. They might. There's a chance they all make it to the Final Four. Let's see. Bumblebee saying, what's up to one wise guy? What's up, B? Mark Langren saying Queens. I'm a Jets fan. Says in between the lanes. Hey, so there you go. Good luck to your team. I hope they only lose by a few points to my 49ers, my friend. Dang good race. Barring stupid Walmart caution, says Shaw. Yeah, that was unfortunate. The Walmart caution sort of set up the later cautions. Ibuska Monday night, says Krusty. Of all the years of all this year's Nemechek cautions, this might have been the worst. I can only remember one race he didn't bring out a yellow, says Bo Darville. So yeah, before that wreck, he had, and I only remember this because I posted it in the Discord. He has a wreck rate of 54% this year. He is in races. He has wrecked, I think 12. Hold on, I might have it. I might have it right here. Let me get some actual numbers because I actually do have them. I think saved. This is before this race. We're not counting this incident that he got into right here. Here we go. In 26 races competed, he has been involved in 17 accidents. Races involved in an accident, 14 out of 26 for a 54% clip. Accidents per race, 0.65. So he is, if you round up, he is responsible for one accident a race. If you round up, because 65, you round that up to one. So that's that's interesting. Interesting. Not a statistic you probably want to be leading the series in. Let's see. Hanging with the fam, I'll catch the replay, and that the information there is from the Daily Downforce. Check out the Daily Downforce; they got all kinds of good information, and of course, I am affiliated with them, and they're just a good group of people, and I like them. That's why I'm affiliated with them. Hanging with the fam, I'll catch the replay. Thumbs up anytime, Kyle. No problem, my friend. Have fun with the fam. Cindric's going to be the first one out, says Mark Langren. So he's picking Austin Cindric to be the first one out. Sobo next weekend, says Krusty. Tentatively. It's touch and go right now. We did win this weekend though. Craig Moore racing 2 wins. Lane Woods got the win, and Craig Moore got the win in the vintage class. Suarez looked good, and and probably had a better car than the one, says Duke Chronic. So took my new camper to Darlington last week, first weekend at the track, not in a tent. Says Delmer Kaufman. That's cool, man. That's awesome. So you've upgraded to the actual camper instead of the tent. So hopefully that works out well for you for many years to come, my friend. In the words of Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. Closer than experts think. Talking about the 49ers versus Jets there. What's up, BB and crew? Hope y'all are doing well. We didn't follow any racing this weekend. I was on the river today and my phone went out in the river, so it's about half working. Oh, that stinks, man. Hopefully your phone comes back to life there. But thanks for hanging out with us, T-Van. Who had the last place finish? A driver on their bingo card. Says Jamie Schweitzer. Yeah, I didn't know it would be Briscoe. That's for sure. Rick Ware Racing better than Legacy Motor Club, says Walter Flair. They are this year. There's no doubt about that. John Hunter Nemechek, 54%. That's awful. I don't care how much money you bring in. Eventually, the money doesn't equal out. Yeah, I don't disagree with you there at all. Suarez did himself a big favor running P2 going to Watkins Glen, and he's good there. I see the 99 moving on to the next round. I think so, too. I always had the 99 moving on. And I would be somebody, I said one of the live streams, I haven't picked anything, but I'll just take or Denny Hamlin, somebody, or Kyle Larson at this point, because he's only plus 15 to the good. Somebody like that is going to have a terrible first round, and I do think that they will get eliminated. So I do think one of the favorites will get eliminated, along with Briscoe and Cindric and probably Harrison Burton. So if I had to pick, who's going to go out, that would be before this started, that would have been my ones going out. But I don't like to pick the playoffs because it's just, I don't know. I just like watching the playoffs for what they are. Nice to not sleep on the nice to not sleep on the ground, says Mark Langren. Indeed. There's only so many times you can put the old foam mattress down, or whatever they call that, the foam ground pad down before you start feeling it on your ribs there. And then you got to hope you flipped it on the right side so that it's not sucking heat out of you and into the ground. You got to flip it up so that it keeps the heat in you and prevents conduction on the ground. Anyway, this is not a camping channel. Why am I going off on that tangent? Who cares? Suarez did himself a big favor running P2, going to Watkins Glen, and he's good there. I see the 99 moving on to the next round. I just read that one, I think. 14 is good at road course stuff. He is not out yet. Yeah, the 14 is never out. I'm just picking him to be out because he's lowest in points. But yeah, he's never out. He's either going to win or wreck. That's just the way I've always looked at him. So he's a win or wreck type of guy. Very interesting survey Pockers did last week. 8 drivers don't like the playoffs. 7 said yeah, and 1 being I'm just here for work, says Chrome Diesel. Bowman Gray looks like it's going to be a joke. Well, Bowman Gray is, to a lot of people, Bowman Gray has been a joke for a long time. So a lot of people see Bowman Gray as the WWE. They don't see it as real racing to begin with. But a lot of fans love it. So NASCAR is just trying to cater to that section of fans that like that kind of racing. So it is what it is. I can't really get into the race in Atlanta. Maybe when it ages more, it will be better. Glad it's out of the way, says Bo Darvel. The Bandits, not a the Bandit. Bo Darvel, Atlanta native, in the movie at least. Not feeling Atlanta the racetrack. I do see a good future for Legacy Motor Club. We need to remember this year one of Toyota, and they also decided to collect all their own data instead of purchasing any from other teams. I agree, which is bad in the short run, but in the long run, it's going to be good. Example: Michael Waltrip Racing did this before they got hit with the thing that ended them from manipulating the race. Jackson Robinson, what's up, my friend? Good to see you on here. Chunk Thickmaster, you looking thick. Thanks, Chunk. Appreciate it. How many screen handles does Chunk have? That's what's funny. I've been sleeping inside since '95, says Mark Langren. No one on YouTube that picked playoff advancing. Picked Logano to make the top 8 in NASCAR playoffs. Oh, that's funny. I didn't notice that. So that's interesting. Yeah, I would just pick round by round because trying to pick a final four, like final four is always going to be super boring. I guess the final 8 is where all the spice is at, but the final four, it's always going to be roughly the same 6 drivers every year. NASCAR is in Direct Fest, says Mark Langer. Oh, nope. Steve Phelps said this is not Demolition Derby. He said that after the Austin Dillon wreck. So NASCAR obviously does not like demolition derbies. You know that's not right, Mark Langren. NASCAR hates demolition derbies. Steve Phelps said so, and Steve Phelps would never lie. It better be if they made Atlanta like 1995. Says Dick Chronic. Joey Logano won my favorite driver, so I'm excited for him. Says Jackson Robinson. Congrats on the win there, Jackson. Glad your guy got it done here today. Let's see. I wasn't in the mood for Atlanta this weekend. My interest for Atlanta will grow eventually when the surface ages. Yeah, throwing up a little tire wear would definitely help for sure. Let's see. That's interesting there, Chunk. Good day in fantasy. 8 points out of first in my league, says Dummer Kaufman. Hey, there you go. So hopefully you get it going there in the fantasy league. A forgettable weekend with 2 unsavory winners. So Matt Hunter not happy about the winner. Glad ATL will be in 2025 playoffs. Nemechek replacing Burton as the rolling caution clock. Heim can do better than that in the number 42. Things got rowdy between the Chargers and the Raiders. Oh, that's interesting. Jim Harbaugh teams usually have a little edge to them, so I will say that's not super surprising. Pull for Michael Bumgarner in the Hickory Championship night next Saturday night. I know him, says Jackson Robinson. All right. Phelps' nose was growing, says Mark Langren. Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. Atlanta like this. I don't want green flag stops, says Duke Chronic. The 5, the 9, the 24, and the 48 make the final 4. That would piss off NASCAR fans. I don't think NASCAR would I don't think it would happen. I don't think NASCAR would let it happen. That's 4 accounts. This fool is made now, banned all 4. Best part of the whole race was Ty Gibbs not winning, says 2 acres and a mule. The absolute best. Says 2 acres. So he's not a Ty Gibbs fan. The 5 didn't wreck. The 5 wreck didn't look normal at all, says James Burns. Yeah, but there were a couple of other guys who did the same thing. The 17 had a very similar wreck, and then I think the 42 had a very similar wreck too. So I don't know if it was a part that broke or if the car itself just broke loose. I know all 4 tires were up because on the slow motion replay, I was looking at the tires and all the tires were up. So it wasn't a tire. I know for a fact it wasn't a tire. Unless it was a tire that was going down and it wasn't all the way down yet. That could be the only, but the tire didn't completely blow out, I guess is what I should say. But I think he just lost it. And that's just the way these cars are. They're on such a knife's edge. We saw at least two other cars have a very similar wreck in the 17 and the 42. Justin Haley's call sucked, says Jackson Robinson. I agree. I don't like the yellow line rule, period. A game that's rowdy that involved the Raiders. I'm shocked, says Joseph Wooten. I do look forward to Watkins Glen next week for Xfinity mostly Cup, but they have a new tire compound, so it may be a banger or not a banger, says Chrome Diesel. Yeah, hopefully the tire compound works out over there. BB, you think there will be overtime in Watkins Glen? Watkins Glen overtimes are not road course overtimes. I don't know how many of those we normally get, so I don't know. I would say under 50%. It looks like it grips when he turns the wheel, says James Burns. Yeah, so maybe it's hard to say with rack and pinion steering. So I mean, it looked like it was loose, and then he hit it like that, and it just shoots. So it is what it is. NASCAR is looking at it. So if there was something wrong with it, NASCAR will figure it out. Whether or not they tell us about it, that's another story. I think Atlanta is one of those tricks, junior home tracks. Says Jamie Schweitzer when the first outtakes a fantasy pick. It sure makes it easy to sit back and hope the rest make it. Says Brickyard Brickhead for sure. Bristol will maybe very cool to quadruple header at the track with the three national series and ARCA. Says Thunder. That would be a cool. That would be pretty cool quadruple header. Are you excited for the Cars Tour race at South Boston next Saturday night? Yeah, Cars Tour always puts on a good show, and South Boston always puts on a good show. Just like Ace and Hickory and several other Tri County, several other tracks. A lot of good tracks in that area. All right, looks like we reached the end of the chat. Final poll question: 35%. Martin Truex is in the most trouble. Chase Briscoe, 32%, second most. 28% saying Harrison Burton, and 6% saying Brad Keselowski with a nice 69 votes. All right, that's it. We'll check you on the next one. Peace.